Right then, on to the final Amarok video, or if you're just joining us, it's the first one you're going to see and it might be pointing you into the direction of some other ones. So this truck, we've had it a while now, a bit longer than we wanted to, but coronavirus didn't help. So we've had it, it came to us brand new, unregistered, it got a 20 plate on there, but it was back in February, so probably a month before it should have even been on the road. So it came with a couple 100 miles on the clock. It'd been delivered from a dealer up in Scotland, so that's where the guy's from. It came as a standard, totally standard truck, and the customer basically gave us a few briefs. He got a certain amount of money to spend, and he wanted to try and tip past 400 horsepower if it were possible. We never pushed one that far, or this engine that far, so it were all new to us. So this one's the V6, which the older ones are all 2 litres, which they were quite popular, but everybody always complained they lacked guts. And this latest one from 2018, 2019 onwards, they did a 258 horsepower version. But I've got a little bit of paper here so I don't get things all completely mistaken, which Danny will put up where I'm looking at here. But basically, there's a choice of gearboxes and engine layouts and what have you, but they range all the way from 160 horsepower, which you can get that in a rear wheel drive single cab pickup in like Australia, I believe, all the way up to the 201, a 221, and another 221 for some reason. I don't know why there's two 221s, but they've got slightly different engine codes, but they all DDX, so there's A, B, C, D, and these latest ones are DDXE. So pretty much the engine's all exactly the same. The differences are what horsepower the ECU's tuned to give and what gearbox they're available with. So there's quite a few options, but basically whatever we talk about at the minute, you can have whatever engine code you've got. They're all exactly the same and they're all equally as strong, so it's not really a big deal. This one's got the 8-speed ZF automatic, which is the best gearbox. They're probably one of the best gearboxes fitted to any vehicle, really, but the best gearbox that these come with, and they are really good. And that's what comes in all the bi-turbo Audis and stuff like that. Really, really strong. I don't think you'd break one, but let's see if somebody can try. So, obviously these are really popular at the minute. You can tow a decent trailer, you can put a ton bag of gravel in the back or whatever you want to do. You could take them off-road. They've got a fancy solenoid on the torque converter so you can slip away, so it's like having a low range gearbox. So they're quite a popular thing, and obviously you can put them through a business, and it's a decent car, but you can still all freight, which we've done quite a few of these in between this one, not to this spec, but just tuning them. And those customers, they're towing stupid weights with them, you know what I mean? Stuff you probably shouldn't be towing, 3 and 4 ton trailers. And some of the customers they've got overseas, they're towing massive boats through, there's a crazy, I can't remember the name of it now, but towing for 4 hours in 5th gear at full throttle, just slugging away until his oil, basically the only thing he was trying to keep cool was his oil, but he kept his foot in it anyway. So they are really, from what we've seen up to now, they are really, really tough, and the tunes that we're taking off these, that other tuners are doing, that's just blowing the DPFs out the exhaust, they take a lot of punishment. So they are a good tuning tool, although they're a big heavy bus, they are pretty good. So anyway, waffled on probably a little bit too much. So if you want to see where we've got, how we've got to where we are now, there'll be a link above, and that'll show you the full playlist of this vehicle. There's probably 3 or 4 hours worth of watching on there, so be prepared to listen to my boring voice as long as you can. And yeah, we've gone all through the motions to get to where we get with this, but there's quite a few different things we can do. But at the minute, if you look here, you can see the purple lines here are what it did standard, so 440 foot-pound of torque and 257 horsepower, which is perfect. It's a 258 horsepower model. And then with the big turbo we've got on now, the green lines, we're at 391 horsepower and 620 foot-pound of torque, 600, 620, a little bit of a spike there. And then if we put the water injection on there, which we'll look at in a minute, we're above 400 horsepower, which obviously get a marginal gain in the mid-range 20-30 foot-pound and 10-15 horsepower, but then all the gains here, the 20 horsepower-ish, at 15 horsepower-ish is all at the top end here. So the water injection did keep the EGTs a little bit cooler when you were full bore, full throttle. So for towing, some water injection probably not a bad idea to have on there, so when it starts getting a little bit laborious, the water injection will kick in and keep things a bit cool. But it gives you a bit more power as well if you mix it 50-50. So that's where we are now. We did a video on the performance figures, that's already gone out there, and this we're doing less than 5 seconds to 60, which is crazy for something that weighs this much. Hopefully we'll have some 0 to 100 times and quarter-mile times that we can put on over this video when this goes out. The customer's taking it now and he can do his own measurements if he wants to. But yeah, anything past 100, 110 mile an hour on something like this, it's got a big frontal area. It's going to be struggling. Sort of where this really shines is sort of 30 to 60, 50 to 70, sort of the overtaking, motorway, slip road, that sort of thing. And if you're towing a trailer, you're not going to be sat with a train of cars behind you. You're going to be able to do the speed limit very comfortably. So I think that's what's good about these. We'll pop the bonnet and we'll have a quick look, and then we can talk about what cost some of these parts have got, or sort of what the total is for what this build's ended up at, and then we'll talk about the stages that we're sort of selling to people. So we'll put the bonnet lifters on this one as well, which I think it's sacrilege that they've not got bonnet lifters as standard, but anyway. So V6 engine, and this one's like brand new, looks a real mess, and these engines are really messy. I'll get it off eventually. So as you can see on this one, which we've gone over these in the other videos, this has got the GTD2872 ball bearing turbo on there. That's what you need to get past sort of 300 horsepower that a standard turbo will do. It's got the full downpipe, full exhaust system. This has got the twin exit system at the back. Got the water injection, and part of the water injection kit on this one, this is sort of a prototypey kit. We've come up with a swirl flap delete. This is like a little throttle valve in there, which the water injection and the boost pipe comes out of. And we didn't have this on last time we did the water injection video, but we've got a nice little fitting that goes onto the boost set up there, so it's all push fit, pneumatic, easy to remove, easy to replace. And the intercooler, I don't think you'll be able to see it on here. It's hiding away under there somewhere. You can't really see it from the front. It's sandwiched between some other coolers. It's got the intercooler on there. And not really tons else. There's some switches inside and stuff, but I'll get the piece of paper with all the prices on and what have you. So this is the customer's invoice for this one, which he's had a bit of discount because we've had it for so long, so the total on this is not exact, but we've also got the big turbo, water injection, the exhaust system, including the downpipe, the intercooler kit, ECU tuning. We've tuned the gearbox as well, which that's to change the launch RPM limits, the shifting times, the clutch pressures, all that sort of, well, you've not got clutches in this, but the torque converter lockup pressures and stuff like that. Got the fitting, we've got a rail pressure sensor, that's what I forgot about on this one. We've got an upgraded rail pressure sensor, which you need at this point. Got some MEF and all the installations and stuff like that. This is roughly, there might be some discrepancies here and there depending on what you choose, but this has got pretty much everything, and it's £6,500 at today's prices plus VAT to fit. So I think for 150 horsepower-ish, it's not bad. There's definitely cheaper ways of going down that sort of power on other vehicles, but for these, I think it's a 50 grand truck. It's 10% of the truck's cost to get that sort of power. And the difference in 0 to 60, 0 to 100 or whatever, it'll be huge. So hopefully it's worth it and it's a good daily driver. We're going to sort of be offering 3 stages, but as we all are, all our sort of tunes, everything can be, you can do bits and bats or whatever you want to do, but to simplify it to the customers that are buying these is sort of 3 options that you've got. You've got 300 horsepower, 350 horsepower, and 400 horsepower, and that's pretty simple. Each one obviously steps up in cost, but if you want to have water injection with your 350 horsepower kit, we can do that. If you don't want to have the intercooler and you're happy to accept a little bit less than 350, we don't have to have that. But if you want a little bit more with a 300 or a little bit more cooling, then we can do that. So there's many different options. We'll put the link to all the products that this has got, and then if you look on the spec list of this car, there's the 3 sort of stages that we recommend that you can do. But like I say, you can take bits from others and what have you. The only thing that this has not got that we have got made at the minute, which Daniel put a picture in of the prototype setup, we've got an oil cooler kit to go on, but this is not really going to be towing any stupid loads, we believe, at the minute. So this guy's not as interested in getting all that sort of stuff done. Maybe it'll be in the future that we do that for him, but he lives 350 miles away as well. So the oil coolers are probably only other upgrade that we've got for this that we've not fitted. So there's tons of products available. They're nice to work on. We had one that had done 75. It was 2017, so it was one of the first ones, so the 220 horsepower version, and that'd been off-road quite a bit in its time, and some of the bolts underneath were a bit stuck, and all the sensors always seem to be stuck in the DPFs as well after a while, so sometimes I have to factor in a little bit more time, couple of hours extra labour or whatever, if stuff like that stuck. But they're fairly easy to work on. I think total labour on this job, time-wise, for just the hardware, is probably, including the water injection, probably about 10 hours. Take the water injection out, it's probably only 4 to 5 hours, so it's there's not a massive amount of work. All the time's going into the tuning and road testing and making sure it's right. So if people are wanting these doing, we're going to try and have the sort of, the 300s are sort of, you could probably squeeze it into a day depending what you're doing. If you just want a map, it's definitely one day. If you want some hardware, the sort of 300 hardware that we're sort of selling, that's probably leave it with us overnight. So get it in the morning, get it one morning, it'll be ready the following evening. And then if you're wanting to go to the 350, that's probably an extra couple of days. If you want to go to the 400, we're going to need it at least a week, I'd say. Maybe a little bit more to just get things dialed in now, especially if you live far away. We'd want to dial it in a little bit better. So yeah, it's been a really successful project. I think we couldn't ask for more from the customer, so that's been reflected in his bill really. We've not knocked him 50% off, but he's had a fair discount. So people wanting to bring the cars and let us use them as guinea pigs, you do get a bit of a discount, but don't expect things for free, because it doesn't work like that. We've probably put, to get this to where it is, we're at least 200 hours logged into this project, so it's a lot of work just to get to where we've got. But hopefully that pays off for the next ones. We're not spending as much time on those, so it is appreciated. So thank you, Craig, for letting us use your truck. Thank you to everybody for watching. Hopefully the other videos are interesting, and yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoyed it. Thank you.